I am fortunate to be presenting BrUOG 354, which is a phase 2 randomized non-comparative clinical trial that looked at two regimens of immunotherapy for people with non-renal clear cell cancers. The immunotherapy regimens that we tried was nivolumab monotherapy and then nivolumab in combination with ipilimumab. Ultimately, this was done in people with gynecological clear cell cancers. 85% of the volunteers had ovarian cancer. It was designed as a two-stage clinical trial, meaning we enrolled a limited number of people in the first stage and then stopped the trial to see which arm, if either or both, had enough activity to warrant continuation of the trial. When we enrolled enough people in the first stage and looked at the results, we decided that although there was activity with nivolumab alone, it didn't warrant continuing to treat people on that arm. And in the second stage, everybody got the combination of nivolumab with ipilimumab. The results I'm presenting today are the overall response rates, which with nivolumab was 14%. And with the combination was 33%. Now, complete responses were only seen in the treatment using combination therapy. There were no complete responders in the people who got nivolumab alone. The median progression-free survival was 2.2 months with nivolumab, and the median overall survival with single agent was about 6 months. When you look at the combination, the median progression-free survival was 17 months, and median overall survival was 24 months. And it's important with the combination that there are still people who are receiving therapy. So the upper limit of that confidence interval around overall survival hasn't been reached. Also importantly, we looked at safety, and we saw no new safety signals beyond what we already know around treatments with immunotherapy. So encouragingly, we didn't find this particular patient population at risk for any new or worrisome side effects. In fact, the most common of them was hypothyroidism, a well-known side effect of immune checkpoint inhibitors. So I think in conclusion, what we can say is that a common combination immunotherapy regimen and a commonly available single agent regimen using nivolumab or nivolumab with ipilimumab represents a very important combination for people with clear cell cancers, which, by the way, is a rare malignancy of the gynecologic tract, representing around 10% of those cancers. B, tends to portend a worse prognosis in general because they do not respond as well to standard chemotherapy. And if you do get a response, it tends not to last. And C, this is a group of patients who, if the disease recurs, face a very worrisome prognosis in terms of staying disease-free, but also living through that diagnosis. Showing that immunotherapy has important activity is a really important step in our personalization of therapies for ovarian cancer. And it is my hope that this regimen becomes more available to people who have clear cell cancers. Yeah, I think the impact of this trial is severalfold. One, we were able to do this trial during COVID-19, and it really required a process of decentralization, meaning we were able to ship these drugs on trial to where the patients lived rather than requiring the patients to come to Brown for treatment. And we were only able to do that because the United States FDA allowed it, and our sponsor, Bristol Myers, also agreed to do it. But where there's a will, you can decentralize clinical trials with drugs that everyone has developed a comfort around. So that's number one, a very important signal. The second is we can now extend the option of immunotherapy to people who have a clear cell cancer based on this data, which represents the largest group of people with clear cell treated with immunotherapy on study. Oh, well, I guess the other thing I would add is, in a time where we want to make sure that our trials represent the diversity of the United States population, for example, we are able to show it's possible to enroll a diverse population. Indeed, we actually undersampled white patients in this trial. If you look at the proportion of patients with clear cell who get this, and we enrolled over 11% were from a non-white background. And the only reason that I think we were able to do that, and it's what we know about clinical trials and diversity, everyone who saw us for consideration of the trial were actually offered the trial.